It's been 25 years since Honda pulled the Prelude from its lineup, but as is usually the case, what was once old is getting a revival. This is the all-new 2026 Honda Prelude. This 6th generation Prelude goes on sale in the late fall of 2025, and like its predecessors, it's a two-door coupe. Unlike some other cars that have been reincarnated, this Prelude isn't weighed down with nostalgic styling cues. Instead, it's a thoroughly modern reinterpretation. Before we get into this preview, do us a favor, hit those like and subscribe buttons below to get all of our latest content. Overall, I think it's a very attractive design. The front features distinct headlight treatments, though I sort of see some Toyota and Ferrari influence with this twin blade styling. Is it just me, or do you see it too? Let us know in the comments below. Now, this nose also kind of has some cues pulled from one of my other favorite Hondas, the S2000, with this beveled nose up here, and I think that really gives it a lot of the character that stands out. I also like this really thin grille here that just sharpens up the overall look. Below, we have sort of a blacked out larger grille with that little blue stripe there that denotes this is a hybrid. From the side, this Prelude is a lot simpler and more elemental than the front, and I gotta say, I really like it. You have these large expanses of bodywork that are interrupted with these deeply coved out sections that cast shadow and catch a little light for a little more visual interest. The more streamlined look is accentuated by these flush mounted door handles, and up top we have a double bubble roof that adds a little more character, and if you want to go further, they also offer a black roof. I'm also really liking this sleek fastback roofline that really tapers down for that textbook sports car look. Around the back, we have a hatch instead of the typical trunk. And that's a big departure from previous Preludes, but it should greatly improve versatility and flexibility. The taillights are just as distinctive as the headlights, though now I'm getting a little bit of a Porsche vibe from the wraparound double-line lighting. And this Prelude script here also reminds me a lot of the Carrera badge, which really isn't a bad thing. Now, this particular Prelude has a few extras built in, including these optional front and rear spoilers, as well as summer performance tires. This also debuts a new pearl white metallic paint, which I think really adds a lot to its personality. Under the hood of this new Prelude is a two-motor hybrid system that's paired with a 2-liter 4-cylinder gas engine. Combined, they make 200 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. And that may not sound all that impressive, but it's important to point out that this is a parallel hybrid. That means that this gas engine doesn't actually power the wheels. Instead, it's more of a generator that charges the battery so that the electric motors always have some juice to get you going. With that in mind, well, it should have a little more response right off the line, much like the Honda Civic Hybrid. Also helping performance are some of the parts that they stole from the Honda Civic Type R. That includes Brembo brakes, the whole front suspension, and adaptive dampers that are specially tuned for the Prelude. Also new is something called S+ Shift, which kind of simulates a regular automatic gearbox with upshifts and rev match downshifts. And that's available with a little button that you push on the inside, which we'll get to in just a little bit. You also get some added engine sounds and something called Honda Agile Handling Assist, which is kind of just a fancy name for torque vectoring. That means it slows down or brakes some of the inside wheels to help the car turn a little sharper. The Prelude isn't being marketed as a sports car. Instead, it's labeled a Grand Tourer. That means you get all the sporty performance without some of the sacrifices to comfort. The Prelude will be available in one singular trim, and for the money, you get leather upholstery and heated front seats. And it's important to note that with these seats, you get more aggressive side bolstering in the driver's side and more relaxed bolstering on the passenger side. So you get a little better comfort for your passenger, which I think is a smart move. Now here in the center console, we have the typical Honda push-button transmission selector, but we also have some extra drive modes here. You have Comfort, GT, Sport, and an individual mode, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want. Now just above that selector is this S+ button for the S+ Shift. Now that gives you those simulated gear shifts that you control with these shift paddles that are mounted to the wheel. And I also like how they're metallic instead of plastic. And in regular mode, these actually control the brake regeneration, much like you would have in an EV. You also get this 10.2-inch digital instrument panel along with this 9-inch infotainment touchscreen that's running Google built in. Also included are wireless versions of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with this wireless charging pad and an 8-speaker premium Bose audio system. These seats will be available in either these two-tone white seats or all black. Another thing I really like is this kind of subtle houndstooth pattern that's built into the perforations of the seat. Just gives you a little extra visual interest instead of just plain old regular seats. Materials quality is actually pretty nice. Maybe a little nicer than I expected. You have this pseudo leather covering on the center console and in this dash, which has almost like this suede look that I really like. The dash topper also has kind of a coarser leather grain, but I think it'll hold up really well over time, and it's about what you'd expect for anything in this class. As you can see, there's not a lot of space in the back seats, but that's not all that surprising for such a small coupe with such a steeply raked roofline. Now, I'm 5'10", and yeah, I have zero headroom. Leg room is probably passable, but yeah, I wouldn't be a happy passenger back here, but it's nice to have in a pinch or for smaller passengers. Now, since this is a hatch instead of a regular trunk, it really increases utility and convenience. As you can see, you can still get a golf bag in here and a fairly large rolling suitcase. So it should probably exceed expectations when it comes to practicality. I'm personally really optimistic for this 2026 Honda Prelude. In an era where SUVs are dominating sales, it's nice to see a car maker come out with a sporty coupe again. Now, by that very nature, there aren't a lot of vehicles that compete with it. On one hand, you have the Toyota GR86 and Subaru BRZ twins that make similar power. There's also the sprightly little Mazda Miata, and if you want to step up in power and performance, you have the Ford Mustang, Nissan Z, Volkswagen GTI, and numerous Mini Cooper models. For more generous budgets, you have the Porsche Boxster and Cayman. Since we don't have pricing just yet, it's difficult to really place where it's going to be, but if I were to guess, it's going to be closer to the Mustang price rather than the Toyota GR86. That begs the question, what would you do in this situation? Would you wait for this hot new Prelude, or maybe go for a little more muscle with a Mustang? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below to get all of our latest reviews and to get the latest updates on this new Prelude.